After 3,300 years, an important discovery shed light on Moses' ability to write the Torah. In 1905, the great pioneer of archaeology, Sir William Matthew Flinders Petrie, and his wife Hilda went to the Sinai Peninsula searching for evidence of ancient Egyptian activity. Petrie had already found the famous Merneptah Stela near Thebes. At the time, it contained the oldest known reference to the people of Israel. It boasted that they had been subdued by the pharaohs. Just 50 miles northwest of the traditional Mount Sinai, ancient Egypt worked major copper and turquoise mines. One of these sites is known today as Sirabit el-Qadim. The Petries began to discover many hieroglyphic inscriptions. Then on the walls of one of the mines, they saw writing that appeared different from the rest. To learn more about Petrie and his discovery, I went to the Petrie Museum at University College, London. Egyptologist Chris Naunton is the former director of the Egypt Exploration Society and the current president of the International Association of Egyptologists. What was unique about Flinders?
Petrie has a far more rigorous scientific approach to the material that he was excavating really than anybody had before. So previously archaeologists had been drawn to treasure is probably as good a word, objects which were very beautiful, museum quality was a phrase that was often used. So those things were prioritized. And more or less everything else, the non-beautiful, non-inscribed, disregarded. Petrie is the first person really to realize that there was a huge amount to be learnt from those things, and so he is the man to invent techniques for gathering that material, documenting it, and interpreting it.
Let's just talk about inscriptions that he found in the Sinai.
Petrie's work in the Sinai is incredibly important. He uncovered a group of inscribed objects, inscribed with a script which was unknown elsewhere in Egypt. This is the Proto Siniatic script. And of course, textual material which Petrie and others were uncovering in Egypt was abundant, but written in scripts which we're very familiar with. This was something very different.
Wasn't Egyptian.
And not Egyptian. This was a new script, a new language, something that very much sat outside what was well established as something Egyptologists knew about in the Nile Valley.
In 1999, more inscriptions were found by Egyptologists John and Deborah Darnell, this time in Egypt, northwest of the ancient city of Thebes, at a place called Wadi El Ho. They were in the same style as those found in the Sinai. What date were the inscriptions at the Sinai mines, and how do we know?
Both the inscriptions from Sirabit el-Qadim and those from Wadi El Ho are, in essence, argued to be Middle Kingdom. But one of the reasons we do that is because, for example, at Wadi El Ho, the inscriptions that are closest are actually Middle Kingdom texts, and the same is true for the Sirabit inscriptions.
In the search for a pattern of evidence, what I know so far is that the Petries and others discovered a new type of script. It developed during the Middle Kingdom, so it would have existed by the time of the Exodus, and should have been available to Moses. And this script was found in the region of Egypt, but was not Egyptian hieroglyphs. It was something very different. These finds matched the first two criteria of the investigation. But what about the last two? Could this new writing be a type of alphabet and like Hebrew?